Hello everybody, my name is KGR whatever, and I apologize ahead of time, but this is definitely territory for me, first time doing a review, analysis, first impression sort of thing, so apologize ahead of time for choppy editing or whatever, but you work what you got, well, you work with what you got, right? So without that said, let's get right into it. So I'm sure most of you are already aware, but to those who don't know, there's a new show that came out recently on Amazon Prime called Secret Level, an anthology series focusing on various video game franchises and their stories, from Pac-Man to Mega Man to fucking Concord of all things, so that's funny. But anyway, I won't review the show right now because I've only seen the first half of the season and haven't seen the second half of the season that just came out recently, so if you want my thoughts on it right now, I will say it's a fun time, but the short run times and all are really annoying, and I feel as though they focus too much on like the mature games. You should give some retro games some more love. But enough about that. Let's get into the real meat of the video: Pac-Man. Now, I'm sure all of you are very familiar with Pac-Man. I mean, he's turning 45 next year, or I guess a couple days. Almost 2025. Y'all know him, we all played him before. You go around, eat ghosts, eat fruit, you see your family, your wife divorced you, that kind of thing. So, when it was announced that Secret Level would actually feature Pac-Man in the show, a lot of people were reasonably, I guess you could say, confused and or intrigued. I mean, like I said, you have Pac-Man featured alongside the likes of, again, shoot 'em ups, Warhammer and Crossfire and Unreal Tournament. So, what is it? Is Pac-Man gonna be changed a bit? Is it going to be faithful to the games? The only thing that comes to mind is usually the Pac-Man World Series or, God forbid, Ghostly Adventures. But then more news came out, and let's just say Pac-Man is going to face a lot of changes. As you can see, Pac-Man is very different from what we're used to. Instead of him being an organic being, cute little goofball with legs, stubby pie eyes and all that, instead we got a floating robot with sharp ass teeth. Like, what is this? What is this? What the fuck did they do to Pac-Man? Everyone was reasonably upset about this, and people thought that how did Namco allow this? Well, get this, they actually did. No, I'm not kidding. I shit you not. According to some news articles, Bandai Namco actually encouraged the showrunners to do whatever they want with Pac-Man. They want audiences to wonder what the fuck happened to Pac-Man, and well, they definitely achieved that. I can't say they weren't wrong. So this is rather interesting, Normally companies would be a little more strict with their characters. I mean, one easy example, look at Nintendo. They had that 1990s movie that went so poorly. They haven't done another Mario movie ever again until recently with Illumination, with the animated film, So it is interesting that Bandai Namco would just let them have free reign over this. Now, of course, hindsight is 2020 what we know right now, but I'll get into that in a bit. But at the moment, like I said, audiences were surprised that Namco would allow this to happen. A lot of people compare this to Bomberman Act Zero, the infamous mature Bomberman game that was trying so hard to be edgy, and I agree, it is rather ridiculous. But after a while, I stopped and think about it for a second, and I realized maybe Namco had a point. I mean, think about it. Pac-Man is surrounded alongside a lot of more mature, adult-oriented games, It's like sticking a Pikachu in a box of armament. It would just stick out like a sore thumb. So I can see why they want to make Pac-Man somehow changed up to fit those characters a lot better. So I can see what they're going from here. Not to mention that Pac-Man itself is rather simple, I mean, I can't imagine you can work it into an anthology level story. I'm sure it's possible, but right now there's not a lot to work with him, There's a guy eating ghosts and he has a family. That's about it. I'm sure there's more to it than that. I haven't played all the games, but you get what I'm saying, I don't know how you could work that into a big story that could rival that of the other ones listed alongside Pac-Man. I'm sure it's possible, but I can't quite think of the top of my head. Not to mention again that Namco is pulling full faith into filmmakers, They're letting them go wild with this. So, I mean, again, they approved the script, they saw everything, so clearly Namco approved this. So if they see something good in this show, maybe it was worth checking out, Wouldn't hurt to see it. I mean, I doubt this is going to be replacing Pac-Man anytime soon, nor would it just taint the franchise like many other attempts at edgy mascot characters. So with that in mind, I figured I'd give the short a shot, see how it is. And what are my thoughts on the short? It's actually pretty good. I actually like it. Alright, well, for clarification, I won't show footage of the episode because I don't want to risk getting copyright. So I'll use footage from the recently announced video game trailer that was related to the episode. I know I've yet to talk about it, but stick with me here. I just don't want to get in trouble. But anyway, the short opens up to where we see a guy waking up from his pod. And upon waking up, we see a floating robot who the show didn't say, but the name is Puck, which, if you know your Pac-Man trivia, very funny and fitting name. But anyway, Puck explains to him, who they call the Chosen, that he is stuck in a maze, and in order to escape and survive, you have to eat or be eaten. So the Puck gave him a sword, and he goes around the maze trying to fight off monsters and eating them, getting stronger by the minute. It isn't until the end of the episode where he finally confronts the ghost guarding the exit, and the ghosts, I kid you not, are just giant looking, gorilla looking like creatures, you know. You go from bedsheet ghost to gorilla, that makes sense. So he tries to fight the ghost, only to get his ass whooped, Hulk style, with Loki. And he says he's not strong enough, to which Puck says, I know, to which he opens its mouth and eats the guy from the inside, and turned him into this black glob-like Pac-Man creature. The Chosen was freaking out from this, to which he quickly grabbed Puck and ripped it out of his body, dying in the process, but his final words being, you're the one that's being trapped. Puck then goes against the exit's door and bangs his head against it, essentially, saying things like, there's strength in repetition, there's strength in repetition, there's strength in repetition. Almost in a defeated tone, we cut to black, but then open up to the same area the guy woke up in. There was more paws in the distance, and one is soon waking up from it. And then Puck is there waiting once again, implying that it's not the first time this happened. I gotta admit, this is a fun time. I know it's crazy to say that, but I totally enjoyed the episode, you know? It's a darker take on Pac-Man that I really appreciate. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is like a masterpiece or that this is Pac-Man from now on. You know, I just thoroughly enjoyed the twist and settings here. I grew immersed in this world, wondering what exactly happened here, you know? What exactly is Puck, and what is this world all about? I really want to learn more about this world, but I imagine we wouldn't know much about it anytime soon. And, well, what we know now, it seems to say, but we're almost there, just stick with me here. So yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this episode, and from what I've seen from online, it definitely divided people, to which I expect, you know. I imagine that you either love this episode for being a creative take on Pac-Man, or you hate this episode for being a far cry from the Pac-Man we know. Like I said, I'm in the former, you know. Like I said, I like the twist, you know. It ain't like, oh, let's make this thing edgy for no reason, like many other attempts at being edgy. So, like I said, they thoroughly thought about this character, the concept, and they constructed it and all that, you know. They actually gave some thought behind this idea of evil Pac-Man, you know. They could have done like, oh, Pac-Man became evil, Pac-Man.exe, that kind of shit. So, I applaud the showmakers for making a Pac-Man that is a darker take that is not crazy or insane or ridiculous. So, again, applaud to them. But yeah, like I said, we all thought that's it for Pac-Man, but little did we know, this is just the beginning. So, 2 days after Secret Level debuted, the Game Awards happened, you know? Some small announcements here and there, you know, the typical stuff I don't really care about. Although there's one thing I'll briefly mention, the new Sonic Racing game, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Looking forward to that. Maybe it's a crossover between other Sonic characters. Maybe we'll see IDW or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to make my analysis on that yet. I want to wait for more info on that. But anyway, later on the Game Awards, however, they showed this trailer, which I showed already at this point. But basically, as it turns out, the episode was not just simply for a secret level, but in fact a game Namco's actually planning out, which definitely surprised everybody. Like, damn, they actually made the episode as a marketing ploy for this game. That is unexpected, but also pretty clever. I'll applaud Namco for that. So yeah, as you can see here, this is the secret level episode turned into a game. Yeah, it's quite unbelievable, but honestly, I'm actually down for that, you know? From what it looks like, it seems to be a simple Metroidvania, and I do love me some Metroidvanias. And there are some things that definitely changed from the episode. For one thing, the pod's different. Puck, notably, does still eat you from the back, but it didn't kill the guy. Rather, it seems to be like a power-up of some sort. Maybe a final form with a gauge? I'm not sure. Like I said, it's hard to say, but other than that, like I said, the gameplay looks interesting, you know? We get to see some various monsters, the art style is nice, the music's good, and of course, there's still some Pac-Man elements, you know? There's moments where you play as Puck and go around the area like a typical Pac-Man game, so it is definitely interesting to see Namco pulling this kind of thing, especially for Pac-Man's 45th anniversary. I'm guessing from what I've researched, they wanted to expand their market, you know, not just simply arcade games, but give Pac-Man a bit more, I guess, variety, you know. Instead of a platformer or an arcade game, you get a horror Metroidvania. Definitely unexpected, but if they're willing to pull all the stops for this version of Pac-Man, we should give it a shot, you know. I bet it'd be a lot of fun. It would be odd, but it'd still be a lot of fun. I'm especially looking forward to the world building behind this game. I mentioned before that I grew intrigued with this version of Pac-Man. I want to learn more about it, you know? Maybe we'll find answers about what those pods are, what Puck exactly is, why he's trapped here. I would like to see those kind of answers. I'm the kind of guy who likes to a little bit of mystery, and I do a lot of theorizing. Believe me, I was quite the theorist back in the day. God, those FNAF days were crazy. But yeah, overall, those are my thoughts on the interesting take on Pac-Man Shadow Labyrinth. I'm definitely looking forward to this game. It is definitely the oddest of the bunch, but again, if Namco is putting faith in this, then I should at least give it a shot, you know? I respect them for having the balls to do something like this, where any other company would probably not do this. You know, I don't think Nintendo would ever do a horror Mario game or Sonic doing a horror game at all. Like I said, again, no one will pull this off, so... Again, Namco got the balls, and Pac-Man is gonna eat those balls. That was a terrible joke, I'm so sorry. But yeah, those are my real thoughts. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Oh wait, almost forgot. I'd like to mention that I actually made this comment about the trailer here, and Namco actually liked that comment. Quite surprising, but it makes me giddy inside knowing company recognized me, even for a little bit. But yeah, now that's it. Take care.